There's a creek in upstate New York. Every kayaker who paddles it, every family who picnics on its banks, every map that shows it, they all call it the same name: Murderers Creek, not Murderers Creek. For 211 years, people have asked, why plural? The answer begins on an August evening in 1813, when a young woman walked home from a gathering. She never arrived. August 1813. The Hudson River flows from the Adirondacks to New York Harbor. 150 miles of commerce, power, and possibility. Along its banks, great families have built their fortunes for over a century. The Van Rensselaers, the Schuylers, the Livingstons. These aren't just wealthy families. In 1813, they're as close to nobility as America has ever seen. Lords of manors, owners of hundreds of thousands of acres, the people who decide which towns will thrive and which will fade into history. And in August 1813, one of those towns is thriving. Athens, New York. Population maybe 500, sitting on the western bank of the Hudson, halfway between New York City and Albany. The Livingstons brought families up from Connecticut to settle here, gave them land, helped them build businesses, created something they could be proud of. It worked. By 1813, Athens has merchants, traders, skilled craftsmen. Ships stop here daily. Goods flow up and down the river. Money changes hands. Families prosper. It's small enough that everyone knows everyone. Large enough that opportunities exist. And safe. That's the important part. Safe. But August 1813 isn't a peaceful time. 14 months earlier, the United States declared war on Great Britain. President Madison's War. Some call it that with pride. Others say it with contempt. The War of 1812 is splitting the nation. New England Federalists oppose it. Western war hawks demand it. Along the Canadian border, battles rage. On the high seas, ships burn. And everywhere, men are deserting. Not a few men. Thousands. The official desertion rate is 12.5%. 1 in 8 soldiers who join simply walks away. Some flee battle, some flee punishment, some joined just for the enlistment bonus and never intended to stay. In 1813, that bonus is $16. For many poor men, it's more money than they've seen in months. So they sign up, collect the money, and disappear. Then they do it again. And again. The army knows this happens. They can't stop it. So they try to make examples. At Greenbush Barracks, 15 miles southeast of Athens across the Hudson, desertion is epidemic. Men vanish almost nightly. The officers there have standing orders. Deserters are to be caught, court-martialed, and if necessary, shot. But catching them is hard, because once a man crosses the Hudson River, he disappears into villages where everyone looks the same, where soldiers move through constantly, where no one asks questions about a man in uniform walking north. That's the world Athens exists in August 1813. War somewhere out there, deserters passing through. But Athens itself, Athens still feels safe. In Athens, there's a businessman named Hamilton. Not that Hamilton, not Alexander, who died in a duel 9 years earlier. This is a different Hamilton family, one of the families the Livingstons brought up from Connecticut to add prominence to the town. The Hamiltons aren't the wealthiest family in Athens, but they're respected, known, the kind of family people do business with, trust, invite to gatherings. And in the summer of 1813, the Hamiltons have a daughter, Sally, 20 years old. We don't know everything about Sally Hamilton. The records from 1813 are sparse, fragmented. No letters survive, no diary, no portrait. What we know comes from what happened after, from the newspaper that wrote about her funeral, from the gravestone her father paid for, from the descendants who kept her story alive for 8 generations. And from this, people liked her, not because of her family's status, not because they had to, but because Sally Hamilton had that quality some people have, the kind that makes you feel seen, noticed, like you matter. When she walked down Athens' streets, people smiled, not forced politeness, genuine warmth. Her sister Lucy will later marry into the Nichols family. 8 generations from Sally's death, her descendants will still be living in Athens, still telling her story. But Sally herself will never see any of that, because on the evening of August 25th, 1813, Sally Hamilton will leave an evening gathering, and she'll never come home. August 25th, 1813. Evening. Sally Hamilton attends a gathering. We don't know where exactly. The records don't say. An evening social event somewhere in Athens, the kind young people attend. Conversation, maybe music, the ordinary pleasures of a summer night in a small town. When it ends, Sally walks home. Less than half a mile. Maybe 15 minutes at an easy pace. She's made this walk before. Probably dozens of times, maybe hundreds. 15 minutes. That's all it should take. Sally's father waits. 15 minutes pass, then 30. An hour. The kind of waiting that starts as mild concern, then becomes real worry, then transforms into something worse. By midnight, he knows something is wrong. By dawn, he knows it's terrible. First light, August 26th. Her father raises the alarm. Within hours, everyone in Athens knows Sally Hamilton is missing. By mid-morning, August 26th, Athens has organized itself. Search parties fan out in every direction. They walk every road, search every barn, every outbuilding. Call Sally's name until their voices crack. This is what small towns do. When one of their own is missing, everyone helps, rich and poor, merchants and laborers, young and old. They search the woods north of town, south toward the creek, east toward the river, west into the farmland. They find nothing. August 27th, the second day. The search expands. Neighboring villages send men. The pattern widens. Someone must have seen something. Someone must know something. Nothing. Mothers start walking their daughters to and from gatherings. Doors that have never been locked get bars. The men searching start carrying weapons, not because they expect to use them, but because the world suddenly feels different. August 28th, the third day. By now, hope is fading. Everyone knows what 3 days means. If Sally were simply lost, hurt, unable to return, someone would have found her by now. Athens is small. The search has been thorough. Hundreds of people looking for 3 days straight. And then, on the morning of August 28th, someone notices something odd. About 500 feet from where Sally was last seen, there's a bridge. A small bridge. Nothing special. Just a few wooden planks spanning the creek. Someone notices that the boards look disturbed, like they've been moved, lifted and replaced. They go closer. They look down, and they find Sally Hamilton. The medical examiner uses 2 words in his report: mutilated and broken skull. Sally Hamilton didn't simply die. She was murdered, violently, and whoever killed her tried to hide her body. They lifted boards from the bridge, dropped her into the water below, replaced the boards, and walked away. For 3 days, hundreds of people searched. For 3 days, Sally's body was lying less than 500 feet from where she disappeared. 3 days. That's how close evil can be. How hidden, how ordinary the place where something terrible happens. 2 days later, August 30th, 1813, they bury Sally Hamilton in Mount Hope Cemetery. The Greene County Examiner recorder will write, "Her funeral was attended on Sunday by a large concourse of citizens. No occurrence has ever taken place in this vicinity that has ever excited to an equal degree the sensibility of the community. That's newspaper language. Formal, proper. What it means is simpler. What it means is, we thought we knew this place. We thought we were safe. We were wrong.